We are back. This is Pachito's Gang. Today we are going to be looking at a very, very important topic, and that is, does the electoral process throw up the best candidates from elections, from the people, from the election umpires, INEC, political parties, internal democracies? So recently, the Amendment Act to the 2018 Election Act, which has been returned by Mr. President and which the National Assembly are looking at presently. Even if passed, are we going to be getting the very best from this Electoral Act to get to the best for our country? Gentlemen, what do we think?
Well, I think the INEC framework for elections is quite clear and ordinarily should have been adequate. But quite often, from my experience in this country, there are usual internal peculiarities that challenge the process. I would like to take a look at two or three at this point in time. And that is first, the lack of internal democracy in the political parties themselves. The wranglings in the party ensures that the candidates don't come out to be known to the public as representatives of the parties until 2 or 3 months to the election process. And that gives barely 2 months for the public to analyze, examine, and scan the candidates to be sure that they are people that can truly deliver the dividends of democracy.
Oh, yes, because at the end of the day, they start to talk about the consensus.
The notice is
primary,
so short for the general public to be able to scan, and when they vote at their primary or the Congress or convention, the notice is so short that the background of the candidates are shrouded in some level of secrecy, and you don't really get to know. So these are not shoots of the challenges within the parties themselves. Not necessarily an INEC issue. Also related to the first point I've made is the financial challenges the parties face. In order to raise money for election, they put ridiculous amounts of fee on election forms. For you to, for example, the APC is asking for governorship about 22.5 million naira for you to buy participation and registration form for the election. Another party is asking for 6 million. Down the line like that, you have various sources of money coming. Because the parties don't charge membership fees. Membership of the parties don't pay subscription fees to be a member of a party.
So the financial inclusion and control surrounding people coming up to participate is low.
So is the leadership in the process is sold to the highest bidder. That's the
Well, going back to the question you asked, is the electoral process actually thrown up the right people? The answer to that is no, because the evidence is what we see all over the place. Our politicians have learned something bad. They are all shrouded in secrecy. They do so many things that are not in the public glare. For example, if you pay attention, you will realize that those who want to get involved into the electoral process, want to contest for any position, never make their thought known until it's too late. What do I mean by that?
Is it that they are scared, they are afraid, they are not sure, they don't have a manifesto?
Because there were no process, there were no manifestation, neither is there any ideology in whatever they are trying to do. So they try to muddle things up, then expecting the electorate not to be aware of what the process is.
Then we would like to say, because of this what lawyers will call a lacuna, is the reason why we have the same set of people coming over and over again, despite the fact that Even the electoral amendments that has come, I think is the fourth amendment that has gone to the National Assembly. The not too young people to run have been encouraged to come, and I see a lot of discourse in the space. What do you think?
To me, the real problem we have in Nigeria is the issue of transparency and accountability in the electoral process. For several years, we know that the electoral process in Nigeria is characterized by money politics. So if you don't have money as a young person, you can never win an election in Nigeria. So the issue of promoting the culture of transparency, accountability, and value system is what the electoral umpire like INEC and the other stakeholders should actually be working on. We should try and promote the culture of transparency and accountability in the electoral process.
Let me just throw this in. It has been often said that the INEC chairman, is he independent? He was, the choice of Mr. President. Should it not have been an independent body? Okay, we just talked about the funding. Should it be at the whims, caprice of, a particular set? Is this the presidency or the National Assembly? And then who takes precedence over the election sequence? Is it the National Assembly? Is it the presidency? Is it the political parties? What are your thoughts?
I think the regulation is quite clear. INEC has sole right as the umpire to set the rules. Yeah. It's for the parties to comply with the structure rolled out by INEC.
Well, INEC has set the rules. The National Assembly has virtually overturned that in the amendment of 2018.
When you have such challenge in the political space,
yes,
the best arbiter is the
judiciary.
Either party that feels offended or challenged should go to the judiciary.
But do we have enough time? Do we have enough time for this election? And that's why I was asking that question.
We don't have enough time for judiciary to come into this matter as it is now. So the best thing is for the Senate and the executive and the political parties and all those who are key stakeholders in ensuring that we have a credible election in 2019 to come together and agree to move the country forward. If we are looking at going to court, going to get the judiciary to give a verdict on who has control, who has this or who has that,
it will impede
the conduct of the 2019 elections.
The issue under the carpet.
Yes.
The issue of the election calendar is about 4 or 5 months old. It's not a yesterday issue.
Of course.
Yeah.
So if it came out about 9 months to the next general election, I believe that's adequate notice. This National Assembly is an interested party in this matter, so it cannot resolve the challenge. You need an independent referee to do it, and that's where the Constitution recognizes the role of the judiciary. If you try to bend the rule to run away from the judiciary, we will bend on many other issues in the future.
So while we are looking at that judiciary and then looking at the sequence, let's hear what the people have to say concerning this subject. We'll be back.
When the government is seen that way, it will be reduced. We don't want people that are just striving to get there.
To the best of my knowledge, in Nigeria, no. The reason is, okay, just look at, for instance, this issue of the consent bill or form, how much they are selling it. The best guys don't get to come in to make the needed change. It is still the same criminals who are stealing the nation's money before, and they're able to find their way back because they already have a full purse. So the good guys with good ideas don't really get the opportunity to come. So that's what I think is a no.
I don't think so. Reason being that for you to engage or for you to go into politics or become a governor or a senator or whatever, you must have backup. That is what it is in this country. Seriously, you must have backup. And I don't even know why it's like that. If we follow due process in all electoral processes, definitely we would have one of our best candidates. But if people are the topmost, what they call them godfathers, if they are the one that brings in their candidates, definitely things might not or eventually not go well. I don't think our electoral process gives adequate opportunity for the best candidate to emerge.
You are welcome back. I haven't listened to the people on the field, and I know, Rashid, you were talking about the judiciary and what have you, but a few things are beginning to come out from the judiciary. This Chief Justice just made a pronouncement that incessant adjournment, people shopping from one court to another to go and get perpetual injunction should be discouraged, and is going to frown at it. It's a positive one, but I'd like us to look at one other aspect. Paying people at election booths to go and campaign and vote for specific parties. Can we look at it? Can this stop? The Ekiti election was a case in point, seriously flawed. INEC even agreed that many things happened at that election by both parties, the major parties, and people were being given money, and people, monies were being released to go and pay for salaries for coming election. Are you sure this is not in any way tainting the ability of credible persons to come and take positions in this country?
It will taint the ability of credible people to come out and run for electoral positions in Nigeria, because if it happened in Ekiti State and there was no consequence, there's no ruling it out that it will not happen even at the national election. Vote buying right there in the presence of INEC, and there was no consequence.
No consequence.
No consequence.
So
it's a clear indication for other people to carry on with the same thing.
We have gotten to the point of new abnormal normal in our system.
That's a nice one. Abnormal.
Normal. Because why did I say have become normal?
Or normal, abnormal.
The political parties are now coming to say, no, it didn't start on our own time. I'm sure you've heard that.
Of course.
It didn't start on our own time. It started with the last administration. The fish start getting rotten from the head.
My barrister, I like your point about not having consequences, and I think it's very, very, very important that we should have consequences.
I'm coming with something. Why there are no consequences? Because this administration have now taught us that they are not interested in the rule of law.
Exactly.
And not just not interested, they are even bold in your face to tell you that executive order is more important than the judicial order. There has been several court orders that have not been.
I am very, very certain that nothing can take away the ground norm and the rule of law. INEC came out lately and said, as part of the tinkering, people should not go into the polling booths with their cameras and what have you. And the INEC chairman was adamant and clear that people are going to be made scapegoats. Do you think this is going to work, Rashid?
Well, it may work, it may not work. It depends on the circumstances.
We've had
precedences in the past where the rules are broken and consequences were not implemented. Democracy thrives on the rule of law. And that's why each segment in the democratic process is assigned certain responsibilities. It's the responsibility of the National Assembly and the executive arm of government who are fighting for their independence and authority to ensure that the judiciary also enjoys say. I don't share totally the view that what has happened in times past is enough to drive people or frighten people away.
Of course, it should
We've had cases in the past, right from the First Republic. Remember the case of Adegbero and Akitola. Fight at the highest level of courts judiciary in Nigeria over the election results. The case went out to the Privy Council in London, and there was calm in the country. Now let us await the outcome of the ruling from the Privy Council. Because the mindset was that look,
the judiciary will be the final arbiter.
Yes, on the very day the ruling will come from the Privy Council, An emergency meeting of parliament was summoned in Lagos, and Nigeria took a fundamental decision to disconnect effective that very day from the rulings of the Supreme Council.
Of the Privy Council in London. I think I remember
Court
that.
will now be the highest court of Nigeria. So that created crisis in the West, which eventually led to Operation Wettier.
To the Wettier.
Yes. But following that, 10, 11 years after, we still have a very fresh case of Omobori versus Ajashi in Ondo State, where the INEC announced results in favor of Omobori having defeated the incumbent.
And then, of course,
there was a riot. Ajashi went to court. The court reversed the decision of INEC, gave victory back to Ajashi. So the judiciary has a role to play, and we should do our possible best.
I agree with you.
That we support the judiciary.
Support the judiciary. Make sure that our electoral processes work. The amendments that the National Assembly is looking at is the fourth amendment to that same act should work. Does it not now then say there has to be a mindset change for everybody? INEC, the people, political parties, the courts. Barrister,
the paradigm shift,
what do you think?
The paradigm shift have to come from the executives. Because if you look at it from all angles, it looks like the executives is actually driving the conversation. The fact lies that the new pronouncement by INEC that if you are found buying votes in this coming Osun state, that there will be consequences.
You will not go
scot-free. That means there will be consequences. Yeah. However, but they're leaving one aspect of it, which is our EFCC, that's supposed to be looking into what purse is this money coming out from and apprehending the culprits. The court cannot do anything until somebody brings up a case.
That's right.
So, at the polling booth, as far as the law is concerned, if the process is being followed or not even being followed, it is expected that somebody who is aggrieved or who felt that there are things that are done abnormally to bring that to the court and show evidence. That's the only way the court operates. But what we are talking about is, should the process in which our leaders being thrown up, is it the right way? And I'm of opinion that it's completely flawed. That we are making a mockery of democracy.
Of course, there is no way that we are going to get an utopia, but it's a process that is going on. I mean, I'm very, very optimistic. Not too young to run bill, getting into it, and women getting into politics, and the political parties are already trying to bend the rules concerning that.
My ending advice to this whole debate is that Nigeria as a country should try to institutionalize the process of transparency and accountability in our electoral system. It should not just be for INEC or for the Senate House or for the executive. It should be the responsibility of everyone to ensure that we institutionalize the process of accountability in our electoral system. And once we get that right, I can assure you we will have credible people coming out to be elected.
Just going here and there. INEC is saddled with this responsibility.
Yes, but they are not carrying out that way because of certain things.
We cannot divorce them from electoral process.
Yeah.
They set the agenda that people follows. And being the umpire of election, they have made a statement that what happened in Ekiti, should they repeat itself again?
There will be consequences.
There will be consequences.
Okay.
Those consequences are yet to be seen.
Well, except that those consequences, let's be fair, INEC will not be the prosecutor.
Yeah.
And that is why I said all aspects, including the police,
The security, judicial, everyone.
all the security agencies, including you, me, and you
need to know
must
something.
do what is right.
You need to know something.
I think what James was happening on was that the outcome of a successful election is a responsibility.
It's a
of all
collective
Nigerians.
responsibility. That's what I'm trying to say.
The parties must ensure that the candidates they put forward are candidates that have values.
And they
Not
have come
corrupt,
through,
yes.
through a democratic process.
Not candidates that will disgrace the party by buying votes or bribing electoral officials.
Or by presenting fake
INEC
credentials.
as referee has issued the guidelines. It's the responsibility of the police at the polling stations to arrest anybody that is engaged in vote buying. Political parties don't have the authority or power to arrest at the police station.
Exactly.
It's that function of the police. And that comes to address the issue you're raising. If the police will not arrest anybody at the polling station, then there is nobody to present to the court.
That's my point.
Then the court cannot, on its own, just create an accused.
Mr. Rashid, you need to
Yeah.
also understand that if you give the police, our Nigerian police, that kind of power, there will be a lot of arrests in there. Because we're trying to have sanity.
They have the power. They have the power.
No, wait a minute. We are trying to have sanity in the police station. So, don't forget that the populace are looking at the Nigerian police as holding a brief for some certain political...
That takes me, unfortunately, time is not our friend. I agree. I think the conclusion is simple. We need ethical revolution, mindset change. Every institution that has been created to bring out the best should do what is needful. We should do it not just with justice, but with love. And individuals should make sure that at any point in time, they go through this process, submit themselves through this process, and if they fail, they accept the will of the majority and of the people that are surrounding. I thank you. Our social media handles are on the screen shown to you. You can always visit for this particular episode and other episodes that's gone in the past. We'll be with you again. Thank you.